9 common phrases women say that secretly mean something else. Decoded. Alright, let's get straight to it. Women often don't express what they truly mean. Half the time, what she says is the polar opposite of what she's really feeling. And unless you're fluent in femspeak, you'll likely find yourself confused, frustrated, or even stuck in the friend zone. Now, if you're new here, I'm Anna Jorgensen. I'm here to help good guys like you, yes you, find, attract, and keep the right person. Welcome to Just the Tip. In this video, we're going to decode 9 common phrases women use that often have a different meaning than what they seem to say. Remember, women are wired differently than men. If you don't learn to understand her words, you might be missing out on what she's really trying to communicate. Now, let's be honest. Sometimes she thinks she's being straightforward even when she's lying to herself as much as she is to you. And yes, I know it can be exhausting for some of us women too. By the way, if you want to decode what a specific woman in your life has said to you, I have a solution for you. So let's dive in. Number 1. When she says, I'm not looking for anything serious right now, it actually means, I'm not looking for anything serious with you. It's a tough pill to swallow, but here's the truth. If she met a guy who checked all her boxes tomorrow, he'd be in her box tomorrow, and she'd be in a relationship with him within a week. However, it's painful to admit, she doesn't see you that way right now or possibly ever. Either you haven't completely turned her off, and she's on the fence, waiting for her feelings for you to either ignite or fade, or she's keeping you around for attention, favors, validation, or just company. Imagine you ask someone to hang out and her response is, I'm not really ready. Yet, just a couple of weeks later, you see her enjoying a date night with someone else. In this situation, it's clear that you were merely a backup option. The best approach is to step back respectfully, cease investing your time, attention, and emotional energy, and recognize that your efforts are being wasted on someone who isn't fully committed to you. This not only saves your energy but also boosts your self-esteem as you learn to move on confidently without feeling desperate or needy. Now, consider another scenario where she tells you, you deserve someone better. This is her courteous way of saying she isn't attracted to you, even though she may not want to hurt your feelings. Alternatively, if she has had negative experiences in the past where outright rejection led to uncomfortable emotional responses, she might choose this method to avoid a potentially difficult conversation. Essentially, this is a gentle form of dismissal, often designed to cushion the blow without directly confronting the issue. For example, if you open up and share your feelings, and her response is, you're amazing, this might hint that while she appreciates you, she is subtly indicating a preference for someone who challenges her or makes her feel more intensely, even if that means not treating her kindly all the time. It's important to understand that women tend to be driven by emotions rather than strict logic, a fact that many have observed. They often seek the thrill of emotional intensity, which can include a bit of mystery, challenge, or the experience of being chased, rather than someone who is entirely available from the start. As Coach Corey Wayne profoundly noted, a woman is typically more drawn to a man whose feelings remain somewhat uncertain. This classic insight suggests that a little bit of unpredictability or emotional challenge can sometimes enhance the overall attraction between two people, creating a dynamic that feels both exciting and deeply engaging. Alright, let's break this down. So, you find yourself in a situation where you're not sure how to respond. Here's a solid game plan. First, acknowledge her statement and express your gratitude. Be genuinely thankful. Then, make a smooth and polite exit from the conversation. This approach offers several advantages. It strengthens your sense of self-worth and helps you cultivate the habit of seeking out women who are genuinely enthusiastic about you, rather than those who might be choosing you out of a sense of obligation or pity. Now, moving on to the third point. She says you can do whatever you want. Let's translate that, shall we? It essentially means, don't do that unless you're ready to deal with a whole lot of unnecessary drama and chaos. Consider this a warning. This is a test. Yes, I'm repeating myself for emphasis. This is definitely a test. It's not a green light to proceed. Think of it as bait. And if you take her words at face value without carefully considering the underlying message, well, my friend, you've just fallen into the trap. She's not giving you a free pass to do as you please. Instead, She's gauging your emotional intelligence to see if you can pick up on the fact that she's not truly comfortable with your proposed course of action. Is this situation making you feel frustrated or angry? I completely understand. It would certainly be simpler if everyone, especially women, were always direct and explicitly stated what they meant. Wouldn't it? But, as you know, human communication can be complex and nuanced. This is why developing emotional intelligence is so important in navigating relationships effectively. Absolutely. However, there's a reason behind her actions, and I'll clarify that shortly. To illustrate, let's consider a scenario. Imagine you tell her that you're going out with your friends, and she responds with, "Fine. Do whatever you want." You leave, feeling confident that everything is fine, only to find that she's giving you the cold shoulder for the next few days. What you thought was her approval was actually a setup, my friend. So why do women behave this way? The answer lies in the fact that many women are inherently more intuitive and emotionally perceptive than men, a trait shaped by both biology and upbringing. From a young age, they learn to interpret subtle cues and read between the lines. They often assume that you are engaging in the same kind of communication. However, we know that men and women are wired differently. For instance, when a woman tells another woman to do whatever she wants, her friend typically picks up on the underlying tone and might respond with, "Are you sure?" Even if she receives an affirmative answer, she often follows up with something like, "Okay, I'll take your word for it, but if you're truly not okay with this, please let me know." Deal? This highlights a key difference. Women tend to double-check to ensure clarity and understanding. Men usually process communication at face value, and there's a biological reason for this tendency. It's rooted in logic. Even when a woman verbally confirms she's okay with a situation, she might internally struggle with unresolved feelings. However, once she's expressed agreement, the responsibility shifts to her to address any lingering concerns. If you notice hesitation or mixed signals, pause and engage thoughtfully. Ask directly, "Are you genuinely comfortable with this?" If she reaffirms her stance, proceed confidently while staying mindful of her emotional state. This approach benefits you by building emotional awareness and strengthening your ability to handle relational dynamics with both resilience and empathy. Another common scenario. When a woman says, "I'm fine," what she often means is, "I'm actually struggling emotionally, but I'm either testing whether you can intuitively understand my unspoken needs, or I'm still processing my feelings and need space to sort them out." This is a delicate emotional moment. If you dismiss her words at face value, she may later perceive you as indifferent. Conversely, pushing too hard for answers might lead to withdrawal or silence. Think of it as navigating a high-stakes emotional game. For example, imagine you forgot to send a simple goodnight message. The next day, she seems distant. When you ask what's wrong, she replies with a flat, "I'm fine." In this moment, you're expected to decode layers of unexpressed emotions, almost like needing an advanced degree in emotional interpretation to uncover the root cause. When you notice someone seems troubled or not quite themselves, especially in a relationship context, a helpful approach is to gently acknowledge what you're observing. You might say something simple like, "Hey, you don't seem entirely okay right now," or, "It looks like something might be bothering you." Follow this by offering an open invitation to talk, such as, "Would you like to share what's on your mind?" The crucial next step is to then truly listen without interruption or pressure. Allow them the space to speak if they choose, or to remain silent if they prefer. It's important not to push for a conversation, particularly when emotions are running high or in the heat of a difficult moment. Forcing someone to talk before they're ready can often be counterproductive. Adopting this kind of patient and observant approach offers significant personal benefits. It allows you to practice what can be called emotional leadership, responding thoughtfully and assertively to a situation without becoming overly passive or allowing yourself to be walked over, avoiding the doormat dynamic. Furthermore, it helps you develop a better sense of discernment, learning to recognize when it's appropriate and constructive to engage deeply in a situation, and when it's wiser to step back and disengage from potential conflict or unnecessary drama. It's worth noting a general observation about how people process emotions, which can sometimes differ between genders. While everyone experiences a full range of feelings, it's often observed that women, for instance, may sometimes be described as more overtly emotional or may require time and space to process their feelings internally and recenter themselves after an emotional experience. Men, while certainly having emotions, might typically exhibit higher thresholds for stress or process difficult feelings in different ways, perhaps less outwardly. Understanding these potential differences can help manage expectations in communication. Moving on to interpreting common phrases in dating, consider the statement, "Let's take things slow." When someone uses this phrase, particularly early on or after a few dates, it often carries a specific underlying meaning that might not be immediately obvious. A common interpretation is essentially, "While I find you interesting enough to continue exploring, I'm not feeling an overwhelming, immediate connection or strong desire to rush forward. I'm curious to see if my feelings might grow over time." This phrase is notably not what someone says when they are intensely attracted to you or feel a powerful, undeniable pull. If someone is genuinely captivated and eager about you, they would typically be enthusiastic and want to move forward with momentum. Metaphorically speaking, they'd be ready to launch forward without hesitation. Therefore, taking things slow usually signals a degree of reservation or indecision. It suggests the person is not fully invested. They are perhaps half in and half out, potentially keeping their options open or waiting to see if someone else or a different opportunity might come along that aligns better with what they're seeking. Imagine a scenario where you've been on several dates, and there seems to be good chemistry and enjoyable interaction, yet the other person consistently seems to be putting on the brakes, slowing down the progression of the relationship. This behavior, despite the apparent connection, could be an example of taking things slow. One possible reason behind this could be that they are, perhaps unconsciously, testing your patience and interest level while simultaneously ensuring they don't close off possibilities with other potential partners. It's a way of managing their own uncertainty or desire to explore alternatives. It can be quite frustrating, can't it? So what should you do in this situation? The best approach is to align with her pace. However, unless both of you have had a clear conversation about your relationship status and have mutually agreed to be exclusive, it's perfectly acceptable to continue dating other women openly. It's important not to invest too much emotionally until you see that she is also putting in the same level of effort. Moreover, honesty is key. There's no need to hide your other dating experiences. By being transparent from the beginning, you establish trust, even if she may not be entirely comfortable with the idea of you having other options. A smart question to ask early on is whether she prefers to date one person at a time or if she likes to explore multiple connections until she finds the right match. This inquiry not only benefits you by fostering an abundance mindset, but also helps you avoid the feeling of being strung along, like a lost puppy searching for scraps of affection. It's crucial to remember that dating does not inherently imply physical intimacy or sex. This varies based on individual values. Don't hesitate to discuss your values openly. Finding someone whose values align with yours is essential, and this conversation could reveal whether you are compatible right from the start. It's far better to uncover any potential deal breakers now rather than 6 months down the line. Lastly, ensure that you're not playing a game where what benefits you doesn't also benefit her. Fairness is important in any relationship, and when she mentions that someone is just a friend, pay attention to what that means in the context of your relationship. Translation: he serves as my backup option when I need some attention or want to make you feel a bit envious. By envious, I mean jealous. Let's be real for a moment. When a woman mentions this, she is usually aware of the guy's motives. Generally speaking, most single heterosexual men do not seek to form new friendships with women who are already in committed relationships. The situation can become more complicated if they have known each other for a long time. However, if she has only recently met this guy, it's likely that she enjoys the attention he gives her and hopes that you are either too naive or too insecure to confront her about it. For instance, if you inquire about the guy who frequently comments on her selfies, she might respond with, "Oh, he's just a friend." Meanwhile, he is showering her posts with fire emojis and winking kiss emojis, or the other way around. So, what should you do in this situation? Trust your instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. It's important to establish clear boundaries, or consider walking away if she continues to maintain strong connections with other men. The advantage for you is that you can avoid wasting your time competing with these attention-seeking individuals and instead focus on women who genuinely prioritize you, rather than those who seek validation from their Instagram followers. Speaking of just being friends, the following statements are strong indicators that you may have been placed in the friend zone. For example, if she says, "You're like a brother to me," it's a clear sign. "Oh, I've completely extinguished all the sexual tension. Rest in peace, my friend." This is the death sentence. Once you hear this, it's game over. She wants to make it crystal clear that you're safe, non-threatening, and completely asexual in her eyes. For example, if you flirt and joke around with her, she might respond, "You're like the brother I never had," or "You're like another brother." That's her way of saying, "Don't even try it, sir." What to do? Laugh. "Hey, I'm no one's brother." And exit stage left. 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 Benefit to you. You develop sexual polarity with women instead of neutering yourself into a permanent brother zone. Misery. Hey, what she says. "I don't want to ruin our friendship." If you're interested in seeing an updated video about the friend zone and the ultimate friend zone litmus test, as well as the friend litmus test, please consider subscribing and leaving a comment. Now, let's discuss a classic phrase that often catches many good men off guard. Here's the 9th one. When a woman asks, "Do I look fat in this outfit?" what she really means is, "I'm feeling a bit insecure right now. Can you please reassure me?" This question is a red flag, and you should be cautious, as it can be a tricky situation. It's similar to you asking her, "Was it good for you?" which actually translates to, "Am I the best lover you've ever had?" I hope you say yes. So how should you respond? A good approach is to smile and say something lighthearted, like, "You know what? You look so good that you're distracting me from the game." If you share a close relationship or are dating, you might even say, "You look good enough to eat." The key here is to provide her with reassurance without coming off as insincere or desperate. If she continues to seek validation, lean in with a relaxed smile and ask, "Do you need a little extra reassurance right now?" Using a teasing yet affectionate tone can really make her feel special. To elevate the moment even further, if she's perceptive enough to acknowledge her need for reassurance, you can playfully add, "Well, you're in luck because you're dating a very generous man." This kind of playful banter not only reassures her but also keeps you in a position of confidence, both metaphorically and, who knows, maybe even literally. Practicing staying calm under emotional pressure, like defusing a bomb while spinning a whiskey or engaging in some neurotic behavior, can be beneficial. Women find this attractive, but more importantly, it helps you develop an unwavering masculine composure that serves you well in all high-stress situations, not just with women. The key point is that reassuring a woman isn't about singing. It's about showing loving kindness if you've chosen wisely. This same support and care will be there for you when you need it most. It's not about pride or ego. Similarly, you may encounter a situation where she asks, "Do you think she's hot?" referring to a waitress, celebrity, friend, or anyone else. This translates to, "Do you still find me attractive?" This is another potential danger zone, so tread carefully. It's the equivalent of you subtly asking her, "Am I enough of a man for you?" In other words, just as you may seek reassurance, she may also look for reassurance at times. To handle this, lightly chuckle and say something like, "You know what? She's all right, but she's not you." Then change the topic. Avoid taking the bait and don't rate other women. If she continues to press the issue, remain calm, wear a smile, and respond with something like, "Sweetheart, I've already hit the jackpot. Why would I waste my time just browsing?" After that, you can give her a quick kiss, a playful squeeze, or simply look at her with affection, signaling that she is special to you. Then, gently steer the conversation in a different direction. As an added bonus, if she persists in bringing it up, lean back with a smirk and say, "Are you trying to start a quarrel with someone who adores you?" This approach is quite daring. It's important to deliver this line in a light-hearted and playful manner, avoiding any bitterness or seriousness. The advantage of this technique is that it helps you develop the ability to lead conversations and relationships. Instead of getting caught up in emotional traps, you position yourself as the one who sets the emotional atmosphere rather than merely reacting to it. This embodies masculine energy, whether you are dating, negotiating, or simply navigating through life. If you take every word a woman says at face value, you might find yourself feeling frustrated, placed in the friend zone, or led on. It's essential to listen attentively, but also to process what you hear with a logical mindset, especially with the insights you have gained. Women often excel in intuition, subtle cues, coded language, and indirect communication, at least they believe they do. Some of this skill is indeed rooted in nature, stemming from different neurological wiring, while other aspects are shaped by social and cultural influences. Many men wish that women communicated in a more straightforward, logical manner, similar to how men typically do, while numerous women desire men to express themselves emotionally, akin to women's communication styles. However, the reality is that we are inherently different for a reason, and it is crucial for us to learn to appreciate these complementary differences. Ultimately, it is time to stop trying to decode her messages and instead, respectfully, kindly, and gracefully address her directly. When she makes vague or passive-aggressive comments, avoid pretending you didn't notice or sidestepping the issue. Instead, confront it directly by asking for clarification, expressing your concerns, or challenging her in a respectful way. This approach demonstrates self-respect and sets a standard for how you expect to be treated. Emotional well-being in a woman also relies on this kind of honest communication, so teaching her how to treat you begins with the boundaries you establish through your responses. It's important to understand that not every woman will respond positively to your leadership or assertiveness, and that's actually beneficial. It helps you filter out incompatible matches more quickly, ultimately leading you to find someone who truly knows what she wants, and that, in most cases, is someone like you. Additionally, there's an upcoming solution that can help you avoid repeatedly falling for superficial charm or physical attraction from the wrong women while ignoring warning signs, or red flags. In today's dating landscape, missing these red flags can lead to heartache or wasted time, which is something you definitely want to avoid. If you're interested in mastering the art of love and fully understanding what women mean in their communication, as well as discovering the most effective responses to deepen your connection, consider investing in personalized coaching sessions. Keep in mind, this is a significant investment, but think of it as having a personal wingman by your side. Someone who listens in on your conversations and provides honest, practical feedback in real life. To find out more, simply scan the QR code provided. If you prefer to improve your skills on your own, check out this brief video that outlines 6 powerful ways to flirt successfully with any woman. And to help you avoid embarrassing moments or misunderstandings, watch my quick next video titled 20 Signs She's Just Not That Into You, so you can gain clarity and confidence in your interactions. I am sending you an abundance of love and a great deal of patience. I want to express my heartfelt gratitude for taking the time to watch until the very end. Your support means the world to me and significantly contributes to the growth of my channel. Sending you a big virtual hug. May you be blessed.